it has been quite a while since I last showed my face and did a sit-down video on this channel. And honestly, I think it's about time. And it's not just because I haven't been here for such a long while, but also because it's 2025 and I want this to be the year that I finally go back to documenting my life through vlogging. After all, I realized once again how much I love doing this, and I'm just sad that I stopped. I guess it's just that life happened. Adulting got in the way and priorities got shifted, as they often do. But I am here now and I'm ready to reconnect with everyone. That's why for the 50,000 plus of you who have stuck with me since I started back in 2014, I am so grateful for you guys for still sticking around. Because honestly, if I were in your shoes, I wouldn't blame you if you have left. Because I would have. After all, I have been quite flaky in the past years. And yeah, but that is going to change. And for those of you who are new here, hi, my name is Aileen Adalid. I guess to basically just kick things off, I will just start this by reintroducing myself as well as launching on a Q&A kind of session so that I can finally answer some of the most top common questions that you guys have asked me regarding my past, present, and future. So yeah, let's get it started. I am from the Philippines and I grew up in the northernmost part of the country, which is called as Batanes, which makes me a part of this indigenous group called as Ivatan. After all, both of my parents are from there and they're both true-blooded Ivatans as well. And to add, our language is also called Ivatan, which is a dialect and also considered as a language in itself. Looking back, I gotta say that I feel incredibly lucky to have grown up in such a beautiful, untouched part of the world. My childhood was basically spent outdoors with nature and completely free from the distractions of the internet. After all, the internet wasn't there yet until I was in high school, I guess. But as you can imagine, living in such a small place gave me this big dream to basically escape that island and explore more of the world. Fortunately, when I was about to go to university and being the youngest in the family, my parents decided to finally move all of us to the big city, which was Manila. And that's where my story started to change. I had this one major dream, which was to travel the world and be my own boss. I wanted freedom, adventure, and to create my own life on my own terms. But you see, like most things in life, dreams often have to wait. And that's what happened with me. After all, I didn't come from a wealthy family. So when I graduated from university, reality set in. I needed to find a job and fast. The thing is, the first offer that I got was in a field that I had zero experience in, financial investments. Just to give you some background, I got into college under the accountancy program under the wishes of my parents. So I went through 1 year of it and finally got the guts to realize for myself that yeah, it's definitely not what I wanted. So I made a choice to pick another course that would actually fit me. And since our family doesn't really have the money for me to change college altogether, because if I had the chance to choose that, I would have chosen either the Department for the Arts or the Department for Computer Science. But since I can't do that, I had to pick the next best thing under my college, which was for business. And what I've chosen was something that was kind of specialized, and it was called Applied Corporate Management, something like that. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So that first job offer that I got was obviously not what I wanted, but fear of unemployment pushed me to get it. After all, most of my classmates back in college were getting job offers left and right. They were already starting to work and I just felt so pressured. Anyhow, I told myself that it was just temporary. Well, temporary turned into 2 years and I basically just found myself stuck in a job that I didn't love. And because of that, I basically felt uninspired and unhappy. But the good thing is that I had an escape. And it was food blogging. Back then, it was the best thing that had given me moments of happiness as well as creativity. And then days droned on, basically being like that. But then one day, something incredible happened. Through one of my food blogging events, I met this group of people who came from abroad, and they have introduced me to a type of lifestyle that I have never heard before: digital nomadism. Now, obviously, this was back in 2014, and it was a fairly new profession or idea. And given what it was the first time that I saw a glimmer of hope that my dream can finally come true. So one day, as I sat on my desk at work, thinking about how broke I was and how little I had left to lose, I then decided to take the leap. It didn't obviously happen overnight. So while I was still working my 9 to 5, I started exploring online freelance opportunities in areas that I actually love. And that was marketing and graphic design. Slowly but surely, in the next months, I built up enough income to match and eventually triple what I was earning at my job. And so that's when I know that it was time to quit. So at first it was through my freelance work, and then later on through my own online business. But what really took off was my travel blog. But I actually didn't start my travel blog with the aim to earn. It was actually some stroke of luck, let's say. Because you see, I started writing about my life as a digital nomad as a way for me to just use it as a diary. Use my blog as a diary. And fortunately, one of those articles went viral. And I guess it really struck a chord back then because, you see, back in those days, there weren't a lot of people from my part of the world, especially those from third world countries, who have done digital nomadism. So given the novelty of my situation, I then found myself featured in various publications such as BBC, National Geographic, Lonely Planet, and so much more. From there, my blog became a key source of income for me, if not a source of all expenses paid trips that enabled me to travel the world as well as earn at the same time. So yes, travel became a full-time job for me. And by 2018, I had accomplished a huge milestone, which was ticking off all 7 continents. Oh my god, my back. My proper back. I don't know why I did this. So at the end of 2018, after years of constant travel like a crazy person, I was feeling burned out. Having achieved my dream in life, I just wanted to slow down and take a break. And well, ironically, the pandemic kept me grounded in the Philippines until 2021. Now, at first, I was fine with the pause, but as the months dragged on, I felt that I was falling into a rut. While other influencers found that time to be the golden time to catch up on backlogs as well as create more content, I, on the other hand, lacked inspiration. I basically struggled finding the will to create any content, and I even ended up selling my online business. I guess in some way it sounded so bad, but it wasn't really that bad. It's just that I felt like I was in a plateau. Like really just nothing's going on in my life. I don't know what to do next. I don't know what I was doing, but I was happy. I don't know. What's the best way to describe that? I was happy, but also feeling unfulfilled with where I was, which was strange given that I had already achieved my dream in life. I guess it also didn't help that it was the pandemic. The whole situation was just weird, as we all know. Anyhow, eventually I just started asking myself questions like, what's next? What do I do from here? What's my next dream? This basically went on for a while until I met one of my good friends who helped usher Likhaan into my life. So basically, Likhaan is an e-commerce platform I co-founded to support Filipino creators. It is deeply personal to me because I started as a graphic designer, a struggling artist, let's say. Plus the fact that I have always loved the arts, apart from travel, of course. You see, my first online business was all about making money. We sourced products from China, and while it was profitable, of course, our products were not exactly environmentally friendly. And on top of that, I really didn't feel any purpose in what I was doing, other than, of course, to make profit. So, of course, I knew that if I had to start something new again for my what's next, it has to be something meaningful, as well as something that can help make a difference. So, a close friend of mine, who I met by chance while I was living in BGC in Manila, shared with me her vision of elevating Philippine arts. And together we decided to create something that will help struggling artists, just like how much I have struggled before. I mean, sure, I struggled, but there are so many other artists out there, especially those in far-flung areas or tribes that basically don't know how to, let's say, propel themselves forward, especially in such a digitally driven world that we have right now. It also hurts me whenever I travel to see how people would often perceive Asian art or handmade goods to only come from places like, let's say, Bali or Indonesia or China or Japan or even Thailand, without even realizing the amazing talent that can be found in my home country, which is the Philippines. And so that's how Likhaan was born. In Filipino, Likhaan means a space to create in. And yes, we want it to be a space where Filipino creators can continually create as well as thrive. I can go on and on about this, but I guess I'll stop there. So yes, we officially launched back in 2023. And yes, it's fairly new, but we have made progress as well as featured in programs like CNN Philippines, as well as some other events or government programs in my home country. We're off to a good start, but there's still a lot left to do. And though it is challenging, it is also very rewarding. Now, if you guys want to help support them as well, please check out www.likhaan.com. Yes, of course, and this time my travels were tied to something or someone very special. As part of my what's next in life, one big part of that also turned out to be my love life. To give you some background, back in 2017, I ended a long-term relationship. It was on very good terms, but I guess I was in a point in my life that I really wanted to focus on myself. So ever since then, I was just basically having fun and building my blog. And the effect of that was that even if I was traveling to all of these amazing places and countries, I was like this horse with like a guard here that I didn't really even look at men, let's say. I mean, I look at them, but the thought of dating them wasn't really in my space. So yes, I didn't even date at all. Some people find this hard to believe. My friends also found it hard to believe, but I really didn't date anyone. I didn't even talk to any men. There were people who were interested while I was traveling, but I didn't entertain them at all. So yes, I was like that for like about 3 years. But when I finally decided to open that chapter again of my life, the timing couldn't have been trickier because it happened during the pandemic. It was about the time when the pandemic was kind of starting. And yes, that's when I met Frank, the love of my life now. We were apart for so long, once again because of the pandemic, and it wasn't easy. It was basically a long distance thing. It wasn't even a relationship back then. It was just a thing. But our connection felt good to give up on. You see, I've met so many people through my travels, and I guess with Frank, we just click. And it just made me realize why it didn't work out with anyone else before that. And funny enough, when we finally met in person, it felt like my journey, both in life and in travel, started to pick up again. So for the next months, we basically made our long distance relationship work by spending 3 months each in our home country. So I go to France for 3 months, and then when it's time for me to go back to the Philippines, he will be the one who comes to the Philippines to visit me, and so and so. And in between, we explored other destinations together, especially because we both love to travel. I think so far now, we have already traveled to 18 countries together. And for me, I've already traveled to 69 countries. Anyway, in September 7, 2024, which was last year, we have tied the knot. It was the happiest day of my life, and every moment since then has just been wonderful. Well, life is looking really good right now. And I guess if I have to admit, I do feel a bit scared. Because after all, right now, I have taken on a new role in my life, which is someone's wife. And navigating myself with this kind of role feels a bit surreal. And I guess the scary part comes when people start to ask me like, oh, how is it now being married and stuff like that. But I realized that the best way to approach it is to just continue being the same supportive partner that I have been to my husband. And that mindset alone has helped me ease into this new chapter without feeling scared or pressured too much about it. So yeah, that's all right. Also, people have been asking me if kids are in the picture soon. And while the idea is on the horizon, we'll just see how it unfolds. For full disclosure, for years I wasn't entirely enthusiastic about this idea of having kids. But now I'm in a space where I guess I'm not as hesitant as I was before. And I guess another change that I should also mention is that I have officially started my residency here in France. Ideally, we'd both love to settle in the Philippines someday, but for now, we'll have to stay here, especially because of my husband's job. Thankfully, my work has given me that flexibility, but I guess just like how I have moved places before, living here in France can be quite a challenge. Now, I'm no stranger to handling documents or whatnot because after all, growing up in the Philippines, we have dealt with bureaucracy, red tape or whatnot. But I guess with the language barrier, that's where handling all these documents and processes becomes very difficult. So I would often have to rely on my husband for that. Plus, there's also so much that I have to tackle next: buying a car, finding a new place, converting my driver's license, as well as learning French properly. Speaking of French, I have already completed up to level 8.2, but I've had to pause for a few months. So that has ended up with me getting a bit rusty with my French. But I will soldier on. I mean, I have to learn. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, to sum it all up, the future looks exciting. I'm fully immersed in growing Likhaan, living in France here with my husband, and diving back into blogging and vlogging. There is just so much to do, and I'm just so excited for where life is taking me now. Yes, of course, I am making that my goal for this year because, as I've mentioned before, hopefully, is that I love documenting my life. And I do that for deeply personal reasons, but it's also made even more meaningful because I get to share it with you guys. Because knowing that my thoughts, experiences, as well as tips can help or inspire some of you in some way makes this all the more special. That said, the past years have been quite a struggle whenever I try to find time to edit because unfortunately I just don't have the time. And honestly, I have been recording every moment of my life, I guess, and I have a hard drive full of those. I just really needed to sit down and edit all of those. And if I do manage to edit it, I'm pretty sure I have videos to show you guys almost every day. But yeah, with so much going on in my life, it's just been quite difficult. Now, I know a lot of influencers out there who have hired teams as well as editors who will do all the editing for them. And I get it. It makes things so much easier. But for me, this has always been my first baby. And handing over the reins, even just for editing, feels like some sort of betrayal, not only to you guys, but also to myself. And obviously, this is just a me problem. I'm not saying that the other influencers are betraying you guys by having editors for themselves, obviously not. Like I said, I guess I'm just a perfectionist in that way. I just want the content that I put out to be exactly how I envisioned it to be. Because I want it that when I'm old and I look back on all of these videos, I can say that I have edited and retold those videos in my way and as I see it fit. Anyways, I'm working on it. I will work on it and I will try. I just genuinely want to be more active here as well as to connect more with you guys. So once again, thank you for your patience and support over the years. And for the new ones here, thank you for your upcoming support. Please don't give up on me the same way that I'm not giving up on myself right now. But yeah, you guys, for you to still be here means everything to me. So to end this video, let's just say that please do stay tuned. There is definitely more to come. See you guys in the next video. Bye!